Before we start, just a super quick reminder of what we did in the last video. We set up Cursor, so it works nicely as a Unity code editor. And today, we're jumping straight into how my workflow actually looks when I use AI to generate code and speed things up. So first, let me show you the scene. I created something very simple. There's a floor, a capsule that will act as our player, and a camera as a child object placed right in front of the capsule so it behaves like a first-person setup. Let's quickly create a script called first-person controller. And with that ready, we can go straight to Cursor. I'm going to ask it something like, I want a first-person controller. The player should move with WASD and control the camera with the mouse. I already have a capsule in the scene that works as the player, and a nested camera. Guys, it's important to be as specific as possible in your prompts, and give as much context as you can. The more information you offer, the less room there is for the AI to mess up. Also, if you drag any script from your project onto the chat, it becomes linked to the message, so Cursor knows it should read it and use it. Down here, you can select the AI model Cursor will use. We have the usual ones like Gemini, ChatGPT, and Claude. For me, Claude is the one that works best when generating and understanding code. Alright, let's send the message and see what it creates. I wasn't super specific on purpose because I want to show you some common mistakes it makes. Now it's going to think, read what we already have, and start generating the code. As you can see, Claude is really good at understanding Unity code, and it created something pretty solid, including setup instructions for our scene. So I'm going to follow those quickly, and we continue. Okay, the scene is configured. Let's hit play and see what happens. And yep, as you can see, we've got an error and nothing works. I already knew this was going to happen. That's why I said I wasn't being very specific. If we look at the error, the code Claude generated assumes we're using the old Unity input system. That makes sense because LLMs are trained on tons of general code, and statistically, there's a lot more code out there using the old input system. But we're using a newer version of Unity, which comes with the new input system enabled by default. We could go into player settings and switch back to the old system, but I want to challenge Cursor and this workflow. So let's try to make the AI fix it instead. I'll send a simple message explaining the error and asking it to solve it. And there it goes, generating new code. I can already see it's using input actions, which fits with the new input system. Once again, we get instructions to configure a few things in Unity, which is great. I'll follow them and we continue. Alright, everything is set up. I created the bindings and added a character controller. Let's hit play. And voila! As you can see, it works. The mouse rotates the camera. I'm moving with WASD. Pressing space makes me jump, and holding shift makes me move faster. It's pretty impressive that in just a few minutes, we created a first-person controller that would probably take a few hours if done manually. But let's be honest, this isn't that impressive. Any junior could do this. Let me show you something more interesting. Here's a project I've been working on. I used an asset that already included a first-person controller and some weapon animations. But I needed a system for enemy NPCs and passive NPCs. So I asked Cursor to help me build it. And after many iterations, and I won't lie, many problems, Cursor came up with this. It created a pretty modular system where I can define different types of enemies, all based on the same foundation. Each NPC has its own behavior script, where the logic for how it should act is defined. Maybe this isn't the most optimal architecture in the world, and I'm sure there's a cleaner way to do it, but hey, it works, and most importantly, it's maintainable. As you can see, I've been able to make a lot of progress using this workflow. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope this gives you a better idea of how you can use AI to boost your own Unity projects. See you in the next one.